all okay. I'm just doing a impromptu live show here, video rather, from a workshop. I thought I'd give you a bit of an update on what's going on, but also kind of let you into what I've been doing recently and stuff like that. I've got a feeling I should really have warned people that we're going to do this anyway. I'd kind of start rabbiting on and see if anybody joins in, or you can watch this later on. So let me give you a bit of an update on the channel. As I said in a couple of previous videos, I'm sort of taking a break from making lots of videos at the moment, but there are videos coming out daily or every other day from now until middle of March. So there's lots of content coming. I've already produced all that, so that's all good. Let's have another coffee here. I'm recording this on my phone, or shooting this on my phone, by the way. I usually do that on the computer, but I thought I could do it on this, so I could kind of walk around with it and show, you know, the place and everything. Let me know if it's working. I've got 3 or 4 people watching. Hello. I can't read the comments. I don't know how to read the comments, so just bear with me whilst I try and work this out. Is that the comments one? Live chat. Okay, let us know if anybody's watching. Can you give us a hello or whatever like that? Write it down. Let us know if I can see the comments. Hello, there you go, the Fish and Bike UK. Hello, I got you. Right, brilliant. Okay, so if you want to ask any questions whilst I'm at it, go for it. Anyway, so I thought I'd give you a bit of an update. So lots of content coming, lots of stuff doing. I've had a really good reaction of the videos that I've been making recently about the sport glide. Met on both legs. Hello, cheers, mate. You're right. About the sport glide. Well, about the M8 Softails really, and this external breather kit and the vented dipsticks. So lots of good comments, lots of good ideas coming through. One of the things that's come through the last couple of days, really, and I've been thinking about it for a while actually, is when you've got the engine in the crankcase pressure, is that only coming out the breather bolts, is the excess pressure, or is there actual a pressure vent, if you like, into the oil reservoir? And I heard many years, not many years ago, what am I talking about? A long time ago, many months ago, the oil. Okay, I think I might have lost you for a little bit. I've got a really poor signal here. It's probably not the best idea to do this. But anyway, look, there's a couple of videos I'm thinking about doing about explaining the connection between the crankcase and the oil reservoir on the Softails. So but the problem is that I can't really find any diagrams to show you, but there is supposed to be an actual line, a crankcase to the oil pan. It's part of the engine casing, and it's all been cast, so it's all there. But I wasn't sure if it was an actual direct feed or whether it was just kind of blowing by some of the components. So anyway, so the vented dipstick idea does seem to work, and it does seem to work because of this vent line from the crankcase to the oil pan, is it, where the oil reservoir, where you got your dipstick in. I'm going to try. Actually, there's a couple of guys who emailed in as well, and West Ham Unofficial. Hello, mate. How are you? There's a couple of little tests we're thinking about doing, whether you can actually see if that vent is working or not. The other thing is that a couple of people have mentioned about the external breathers. Oh, you know, you've got to be really careful with those because, you know, water or oil could go back into the engine if you haven't got your tubing quite right. Well, again, I'm sorry to say, I think you got that wrong, whoever you are, because if all is working well, at the top of your engine heads, you got your breathers. and those breathers contain one-way valves, or umbrella valves, as Harley like to call them. So they should stop. Now, anything going back in, if they're not working properly for whatever reason, because apparently they're quite flimsy, then yeah, there's a potential for stuff to go back in. The question I suppose I would ask about this whole vented dipstick and external breather scenario is, if you put the vented dipstick in, which I have done now, does that dramatically stop any crankcase pressure going up via the breathers? I think it does, and I think that's probably the reason why it's helping with the external breathers, not letting any oil or air come through. It's still happening, but I don't think as much. So maybe that's the reason why there's a greater pressure release from the crankcase to the oil pan and via your vented dipstick, rather than the crankcase going up through the breathers. Possibly, I don't know. Hello, sorry about that. It's a really poor signal here. I really shouldn't have done it. Anyway, hello, Fran Bunny. Yeah, and yes, there should be a greater amount of pressure release via the dipstick. Yeah, I think so as well. I think so as well. And maybe that's why a lot of people are saying that, you know, with the vented dipstick, you're not getting much through the breathers. Possibly. I mean, I say it'll be interesting to see, explore that. Anyway, so lots of good comments, lots of good emails are coming through as well. Lots of, unfortunately, lots of people, whilst I don't know everything, of course, and whilst all of these things experiments, there are a lot of experiments where people are saying, no, you're wrong, or this doesn't happen. Well, unfortunately, whilst everybody's entitled to opinion, when you start putting stuff down in a comment, you may lead people to have the wrong impression about something, especially when you're wrong. And this is where I kind of take from lots of other videos or lots of other companies out there that specifically tell you that something is happening, or you shouldn't do this or you should do that, without providing any evidence. And this is what I'm all about, really. Show me the data, show me the evidence, not just what you think, but actually show me something. And then, you know, we've got something, you know, to go on. That's why I'm trying to produce these videos, you know, in my own way, to try and show something. Anyway, enough of that, because anyway, so that's but it's been a real good reaction on those videos as well, so thanks for that. The other thing I've been doing, I've been experimenting with a few products. I've got a few videos coming up, and I've started record, or had recorded quite a few videos with different products showing how they work. So old wives' tales, which I'm experimenting with right now. I have actually done a couple of review videos, but I've also I did do a few videos of testing particular products. And I've got to say, you've seen a couple. Samicha, what do you think of the wasted way to cool an Evo motor? I can't really read that, sorry. For some reason on my, I've got to see if I can get this live chat. Yeah, okay, that's on. How do I show that? No. There's got to be a way for those comments just to come up and disappear. If you ever get access to a dyno, you should test Clean Boost Max fuel additive. Chris Fix did a test and found it. Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, with any of these fuel additives, hello from Canada, hello Eric. I've got to say, with any of these additives, I'm not really interested personally in any performance gain at all. I think, I've got to say, with any of these cleaners, I think if you've got a really dirty engine or an old engine, that's probably where you're going to get the most benefit. Because I've got a relatively new engine, and yes, there is a bit of carbon buildup on the pistons, it's nothing drastic. Maybe that's why I'm not feeling any dramatic improvement with these fuel additives that I put in. I've got to say, they've been really underwhelming performance so far. I've tried some other products as well. I've got to say, I've been testing out a few bike washes recently as well, and they've been pretty rubbish as well. I don't know why I do this to myself. I don't know why I actually start testing all this stuff. It's a load of rubbish, really. There's one particular product which I just tested this morning. It's supposed to be a touchless, free of agitation motorcycle wash or car wash. You're supposed to foam it on, which I did, leave it for 5 minutes and spray it off with a pressure washer, and it's supposed to come out gleaming. What a load of old rubbish. Absolute load of rubbish. I wish they'd tell you. I think a lot of it depends on what kind of water you've got as well, whether you've got hard or soft water and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so there's lots of products which I'm trying. Electric Interest, hello, peace, man. Is that Electric Interest? Yeah, yeah. It was like eclectic interest. Eclectic Interest, I think that was. Jola's fueling in the US to vented dipstick for it's $280. Yeah, that's right. The fuel. I mean, I suppose that's why I started a lot of these videos as well, to say, you want to and whilst it might be really nicely engineered, that fueling dipstick and everything, and it looks nice, don't get me wrong, that's still $280. I think that one of the reasons why I particularly wanted to make something was, one, to actually prove the theory of whether this vented dipstick actually does anything. Adrian, hello. The other thing was to say, well, actually in the UK, it doesn't cost us $280. It costs us actually a lot more to have that, because that's got to be imported. Then you've got import taxes and everything. So I think it was in the region about £320, which is about, well, I think that's near $400 or something, for, which is something that I could make over, after a few tries, for a couple of dollars. Theory. Now, a dramatic improvement, then it really depends how my version works. If I think that, it could be improved on with better engineering, then maybe in the future I might go for a fueling type dipstick, one that's been professionally made. Or I might just stick with my version, or I might just not, I might just bin it all together and go back to the standard dipstick. So one of the reasons is, because you've got the vented dipstick, do you need the external breather kit? Let's say, whether you got a homemade or whether you bought it. If you've got the external breather, do you really need the vented dipstick? If you're not concerned about any kind of performance gain, which I'm not really, I've got to say, but I'm going to talk about performance in a minute, because this is a really interesting one, which I've kind of noticed today as well, more so. So I'm not really sure whether, having both is definitely necessary, whether if you have one, you don't really need the other, and vice versa. But anyway, look, again, it's still experimenting with it. I'm still interested to see what the results are. I'm still interested to see about different piston cleaning additives which you could add. There is one in the UK. Unfortunately, I think this is only available to professional workshops. I've got in touch with the company about 3 times. They haven't come back to me, which is a bit of a poor show, I've got to say. If you're from the UK or from Europe, you might have heard of this product, and it's called TUNAP or TUNAP. If you're watching, if you're watching this later, TUNAP, and I forgot what it's, the number is. TUNAP 783 could be, or 283 or something like that. But basically, this one is specifically for engines with carbon piston heads. I've seen the before and after, and it's a dramatic difference. I've also seen it that it's just a purely pour in the tank, run the engine, and it just cleans it dramatically. Lots of white smoke comes out. So I wish I had my computer with me right now and I could quickly show you what it is, but it's a TUNAP. This is the only product that I have seen that they've produced video evidence, let's say, that it actually does clean. Every other video that I've seen, every other literature that I've seen, there's been big claims about these fuel additives and everything, but none of them work. Even that Seafoam as well from the US doesn't really. It's called a TUNAP, a TUNAP. It could be just a UK European product. I'm not sure if it's sold in the US. In fact, I don't even think it's a European product. I think it comes from Malaysia or somewhere like that. I'm not 100% sure where it comes from. Tunap, it's called, and they do a range of products. And one is particular for piston heads, or carbon buildup and everything like that. So get on your Googles, whatever, and go search for it. But that's one that I am kind of really interested to try. All the other ones that you can buy over the shelf, just really not. Is Tunap. Yeah. Oh, you found it. Okay, brilliant. Yeah, so there is particular, I can't remember what the number is because they do lots of products. There's one called, it's either 783 or 243, I don't know. You'll have to figure out the, but that's definitely one that I've seen. There isn't a lot of video evidence that I've got to say, so I don't know what's going on with them. I could try and import it from Europe, I think, but it's about, if I imported it, it'd be about £50, $60-70 a bottle for a small bottle, which is ridiculous. So I only need a small amount, but there we go. Right, so those fuel additives, yeah, I'm really not sure about whether I want to go that way at all, unless there's going to be a dramatic clean. Some people have been asking me, could these do any damage? I don't really know. I think if they're really aggressive, and I think if you're using them too often, then perhaps. But I think, they're all designed to be put through an engine. So, periodically. So I think they'd be okay in terms of hoses, your injectors, everything like that. So I don't see there being an issue regarding those fuel additives or the cleaners, the injector cleaners, system cleaners, piston head cleaners, that kind of thing. I think something that's really aggressive, that Seafoam was supposed to be, and other ones are supposed to be. I think a decent oil change afterwards would be it. Sorry, Fran Bunny, I think this is it. Which one is that then? Sorry, I missed your Melbourne. Hello, the fellas. Hello, how are you? All right. Nice to have you. It's in the evening over there, isn't it? Yeah, so if you find out that Tunap, whichever number it is, there. I'm sorry, I'm missing the messages here. They're not scrolling down on my screen for some reason. They're just sort of flashing up and disappearing. So maybe I have to revert back to doing this on a computer or something. Anyway, look, the other thing I wanted to say about the performance game, it seems that Microflex 978 combustion chamber cleaner. That's it. That's the one. That's the one. Thank you. Yeah, well past bedtime in Australia. I bet it is. Yeah, go to sleep, man. Go to sleep. But yeah, look, the performance gain, I've got to say, from the vented dipstick and from the external breather, not really from the external breather, but I'd say more from the vented dipstick. I don't want to say that there's a performance game. I don't want to say just idly, oh yeah, it's running better. But it kind of feels a little bit better since doing. Now, I say I just finished running the fuel additive through it, which I don't think has done much. It hasn't done much cleaning, so I can't really say that's done much to it. But it does seem to be running just a little bit smoother. The throttle response seems to be just a little bit better. That's it. If I had to make any comparison between just the way it feels rather than the way it actually performs and putting it on a dyno, I would say this is very similar. And I know I'm probably going to get, slated for this. I would say that having the vented dipstick, if it's done correctly, and the external breathers, is possibly very close to having a stage 1 upgrade. Just by the way it feels, not necessarily by having any dyno, or I'm not talking about horsepower gains or torque gains or anything like that. I'm just talking about the running of the engine, that throttle response. It just seems to be a little bit better. Now, I have no idea if this got anything to do with the vented dipstick or the external breathers or the fuel additive which I've put in. I'm not making any claims like that. I'm just saying that I kind of feel that. That's it. My main reason for getting the vented dipstick was to reduce the drips of oil coming from the air filter, which I get every ride. Yeah, look, I've also said about this, about the vented dipstick and the external breathers as well. I think this is going to be more of a case if you've done stage upgrades, stage 2, 3, whatever. Like Deckies said that in his video he thinks external breather kits. I don't know. I wish I've got to be able to watch these videos somehow. Top chat, maybe that's it. No. Live chat. No, that's not it. There's got to be a way, guys, of actually... No, I don't know why I've done that. There's got to be a way. Anybody can tell me how I would actually see the comments for a lot longer. Anyway, look. So... yeah, Doc Harley, I've only seen a couple of his videos, I've got to say, so I do apologise. I kind of said, turn your screen around. What? As in that way, then you probably won't see me very well. I made my invented dipstick and breather relocation. I have an M8 Road Glide Special. Hello there, how are you? Yeah, I think making your own is perfectly reasonable. Okay, right, then... Okay, I'll just keep it right now. Hopefully, I've never used mobile stream. Yeah, I think I might just go with the the computer in the future. Anyway, so I do apologise. Yeah, I know I'm technically messing this up as well. But anyway, look. So the vented dipstick or whatever. I've got a feeling it might just make everything work just that little bit better. I've never been fully convinced by the whole upstaging process unless you go big, you know, stage 2 onwards, I think. And even then, you know, we're not talking massive performance gains because it's, you know, but it would run better. There's no doubt. But yeah, my bike is stage 2 with a torque cam. Yeah, do you know what? If I did upstaging, that's essentially what I would do. I'll go to a stage 2 max with a torque cam, just for it. So I think the vented dipstick gives you that little bit more, but I have no idea. It's purely just a feeling rather than anything specific. But again, very, very slight, very slight. Now, again, if you go into different temperatures, are still running cold right now, going to different temperatures at different times of the year, who knows? I mean, you know, who knows what's going to happen. But I think the greater the upstage, or the bigger the upstage that you've done, the more likelihood is that you're going to put more pressure in the crankcase. That's going to push up through the breathers. That's why you get more oil coming out as well. Also depends on your oil level as well, all that kind of stuff. C480 cam and stopping at stage 2 with the aluminium manifold, which I hear is a good thing as well. Yeah, that's supposed to be a good thing. Yeah, I think somebody I knew recently did that as well with the aluminium manifold. But anyway, yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, look, everybody's got an opinion about these stage upgrades and everything like that. I think for me, Harley Davidson engines are not performance engines. They are not speed engines. They're not high revving engines. So you're kind of trying to get the best out of an engine that's not supposed to do that, if you know what I mean. So if you're making these stage upgrades, you're only going to get small. For me, it's always a difference between one type of air filter and another, one type of exhaust and another. It's very, very minor differences in terms of performance between one and the other. A lot of the actual data they don't provide because guess what? They're not really wanting to give away how good or how you know, bad an exhaust is. I only have the Streaming Eagle air filter and the exhaust all getting into. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. You know, some seem to suffer with this a lot more than what I've certainly experienced. I'm not getting any oil whatsoever. I'm getting water vapor. I'm getting air coming out, but I'm definitely not getting anything like that. So it could be a case of your breathers within your head are not quite working properly. Because what happens is the oil comes up from the crankcase, or air oil comes up from the crankcase. It goes up into the breathers, and the oil is allowed to kind of move away from the air, if you know what I mean, because it goes through this up and down motion in there, like a labyrinth, as they call it. And it's supposed to get rid of most of the oil before it's actually vented out through the umbrella valve, that one-way valve up in there, you see. But there we go. It's bad with oil all over and tore in the hot weather. Yeah, I wonder if it's the hot weather that does a lot of this. The more, so I've yet to see it. You know, so I didn't notice any oil getting into my throttle body when I periodically cleaned it. It wasn't coming out for me, and I certainly haven't noticed yet. I mean, I'll come back to this in the summer, I'm sure, and then, you know, we can all have a, you know, another discussion about that. But I do think that the vented dipstick maybe just tiny little bit of freer running engine. I have no idea about performance. It would be so interesting to get a free go on a dyno to actually see if there's any difference at all. I would suspect you're gonna get a marginal performance hike. How easy can you blow through that inline filter and put through the breathers? Yeah, those they blow through fine. Yeah, no problem. They're just fuel filters. There's still air passage going through, so there's no issues there. In fact, I just checked them yesterday, and it's still the same. I'm on the bike, and I'm just, you know, putting my finger on the end of the breather tube, which I've vented outwards, and they actually work fine. No problems at all so far. As I say, there's lots. So there's always going to be different opinions, and I fully respect that. There's no problem with that. I think some of the, as I said right at the start of this, I think there's lots of different ideas, and that's great, because there's lots of people who are also thinking about this and thinking about doing it in different ways, which is great. What I have a hard time is when I'm wondering if I should get an inline filter or a K&N breather mesh filter. Possibly. I mean, look, everything. I think it depends. Do you know what? That K&N filter, it depends what housing, air filter setup you've got anyway. But I think if you could hide that within it, because I don't particularly like the look of any extra tubing and an external filter, if you know what I mean. I'd much rather being able to catch it and keep it off the ground, so, and then empty it out later. So I much prefer that aspect. But if you could have that little mini air filter within the air cleaner housing somehow, I would prefer that. I'm sorry, I don't buy this whole thing about you must vent everything outside of the air cleaner, because I just don't think there's a big hole, a big gap in a stock air cleaner. I'm talking about a big gap behind there that lets fresh air in. I don't think it's going to make any difference having it vented inside, but there we go. Hello from Little Britain. Jet Le Flock. Hello, how are you? Anyway, but there we go. That's, I mean, that's all open for debate. But as I say, there are some. I get emails and I get, you know, comments as well. Really supportive, and also, you know, coming up with different ideas, which I love. I love hearing about different ideas. But I also get, you know, lots of comments of being very dismissive, and also being very dismissive, and also being very matter of fact about, oh, their solution is best, and, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, that's fine. You can say whatever you like, but you need to back that up then with evidence, as opposed to just giving your opinion, because, you know, anybody can give an opinion. Back it up with some evidence. That's all I would say. You know, if you're going to make a negative comment about something, or dismissive comment, well, then back it up. You know, that's all that matters. You know, I come in, I produce the videos. At least I try and back it up with something that either works. I show something that either works or it doesn't, or open up for discussion for you guys. Anyway, I've kind of ranted on there a little bit, haven't I? Right, so, you know, lots of stuff which I'm going out there. Oh, well, I'm going to put this out to you now. This kind of got to do with bikes, but less. This, I'm experimenting with household products right now: vinegar, bicarbonate soda, and lemon juice, right? This is what I need to do. I need to get rid of lime scale, a thick deposit of lime scale. Any idea if this actually works? I've tried it. It doesn't seem to work that well. Is there a household product or a professional product that you know here in the UK that we could get, that you could use, that would dissolve limescale? Interesting. If you do, let us know or send us an email via the website. I'd really appreciate that. As for motorcycle cleaners or vehicle cleaners, do you know, I've produced some videos recently about sort of motorcycle hacks and stuff like that. I've got to say, most of the bike cleaners which I find are rubbish, I've got to say. You know, that you still have to give the bike a good old wash, and it still doesn't look great afterwards. You still have to towel dry it, and you still have to give it a decent polish afterwards as well. I don't think there's any miracle washer anymore, but there we go. My motorhead says something like CLR. What's CLR? Sorry, I missed that one. Is that for the limescale? Is it? No? All right. Anyway, what's this? Oh yeah, brake cleaner. I've got some of that as well. I've got a video coming up about how to improve your brakes or how to make different brake upgrades. I'll be interested to see what you think about that video, actually, and on what I'm trying to express, really, more than you know, actually going through different upgrades. The reason why I made the video was actually, which hasn't come out yet, which will come out, was kind of the run-up to this launch. This run-up to launch, looking for ACF 50 France. Oh, okay. I said okay just to do that. I'm looking. What was I going to say? Yeah, the precursor or the pre-up to the launch of the new models 2021 from Harley Davidson, and then we had the news of the Sport Glide had come out, and there's no changes really, no mechanical changes to it, just a couple of tank designs and all that kind of stuff, and the bags, the painted bags, as well. So lots of people are always talking about, you know, the dual disc setup and everything, and whether people really like they think the brakes are good enough or bad enough, or need upgrading. Anyway, so I kind of made a video based upon that. So I'd be interested what you think. But actually, a lot of what I've come across with people and talk about bad brakes, bad braking. Just get yourself some brake cleaner first of all. I'll just let you in now. A lot of it, when I used to work on bikes years ago, especially, a lot of the brakes were just contaminated by stuff, and just from general riding, whatever. Just keep your brake discs clean as well. It's always a good one. Just make sure your braking system is great. Sometimes, you know, Harley Davidson especially seem to have a bad reputation when it comes to braking, and there is some merit to that, I think, but there's also a lot of, I think there's a lot of myths as well. You know, these are big, heavy bikes, so I don't think. Look, I would agree. I would agree. Yeah, I think the brakes on the big bikes, big touring bikes, on modern, all the modern Harleys, the Softails and the Tourers, of the ones that I've tried, have been perfectly acceptable, perfectly reasonable. I don't see what the issue is, to be quite honest with you. Could you always improve them? Yeah, of course you could. Could you do something better? Yeah. But I wouldn't say they're terrible. I wouldn't say that you need to go and, you know. Tiger Moth, hello. Changing the subject. How do the new tyres perform? The new tyres. Oh yeah, my Chrome, Avon Cobra Chromes. Fine. No problem at all. Work really well. All sorts of weathers. I do get concerned because of the way the Cobra Chromes are designed. I haven't got a picture for you, but you'd have to get them. But around the actual spine of the tyre, or the middle of the tyre, there's no tread there at all. You know, that's how they come out. There's no tread. There's no grooves in the centre of the tyre. So I do wonder where the grip's coming from. But you know, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. You know, in the winter, I've been riding in all weathers. I haven't noticed any difference at all. You know. Michael Rose, Perth. Hello. Cheers, mate. Cheers. Yeah, I've got a few friends who live in Perth, actually. Perth, Australia. Yeah, a lovely part of the world. I'd love to visit it one day. Right, anyway, so that's what I thought. Shall I give you a show of the workshop? Yeah, look, there you go. Right, hold on. That's where I normally shoot from. There's the blackboard there, and obviously that as well. And that's where I do the business, as it were. I've been making quite a few videos from that angle recently as well, shooting this way. But anyway, yeah. So just trying to come up with different angles. I thought I'd try this one today. Actually, I quite like the look of this one, actually. Anyway, right, so there's lots of ideas that I've got for future content as well. I don't know whether I want to do more live stuff as well, whether you'd be interested in that, maybe a bit more structured, probably just do it off the computer as opposed to on the phone in the future. But say the stuff which I've been doing recently, thank you. Yeah, I get on the black as 680 kilos. What, for the lift? I think it is actually 680 kilos. I can't remember what it is. I just didn't have the space in here, because I'm doing all this filming stuff now, to have a proper lift. I really wanted to have a... Cheers, Alf. I've been enjoying the recent videos. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. Glad you are enjoying them. And this is why I'm doing this sort of video, just to... is that lift sufficient for a Softail standard? Yeah, definitely. It's sufficient for any of the bikes. Definitely. Yeah, no problem. Obviously, with any of these lifts, you've got to make sure that the ground underneath it, if it's on concrete, let's say, is fine. But if it's any kind of soft ground, there we go. Jeep. I killed my stock Harley. Tires in the first year. Maybe riding too hard. Yeah, clear in answer. Okay, sorry. Michael wrote clear. Yeah, well, I suppose it's just like any tyre, isn't it? Richard Perry, hello. Trike, Mr. Trike, how are you, mate? All right. I suppose with tyres, it's how you ride, isn't it? And how you ride, how aggressive you are with the throttle, if you're really banking it over in the bends, what kind of surface you're riding on, all these kind of factors play in to it. But as I say, the tyres which I'm riding, in the dry, they're fantastic, I've got to say, and in the wet, they're perfectly adequate. Can I say that they're dramatically better than the Harley Davidson Scorcher tyres, the stock tyres? No, I wouldn't say so. Not in the wet. I think they're much of a muchness, really, because you never really push a tyre that much in the wet, do you? You kind of try and ride conservatively. But in the dry, they definitely seem to, hold their own a lot better, I would say. Anyway, so yeah, that lifter which I've got back there, I've only used it, I've only got it really because of the space and its portability. I can just move it around and take it over to where the bike is and everything. So it's out of the way. So that's the reason why I've got it, really. I did have another one, but I broke it, would you believe? That was last year, I think it was. So I just got another one, and it works fine, perfectly fine for all the bikes that you'd ever need, especially with the Harleys or anything like that. Absolutely fine. From the sports bike which I had before, there's another. I can't see it. It's right at the back there, underneath the shelving. There's a company made stands called ABBA stands. So they're a good company as well. Very simple design. It's like a lever design. You put 2 bolts on either side, and the swing arm bolts, and then you just lever it up, and it works great. Lifts the rear tyre off the ground. So general servicing, it's absolutely fine. If you actually want to work on the bike, I think you're going to need a motorcycle lift or something like that. Right, Rich Mariner, off to work. There you go, off to work, sir. Enjoy your day. I've got a day off today, so there we go. Right, anyway, so any more? Are you planning an exhaust upgrade anytime soon? So, hello, how are you, mate? All right. Interestingly, I am. So it's probably going to be in the summer sometime when I'm looking at doing something like that. I kind of mentioned it a few videos ago. I am going to do an air filter change soon, but it's not going to be anything dramatic. I think I'm going to go for something like a K&N filter replacement. I'm not going for an open air filter. The reason is purely because I ride all year round and my bike gets covered in crap. So I just need to have it in case. So I am looking at different types of air filter or air cleaner elements that will be best to go behind the stock housing. That's what I'm really interested in. If I can find something, if anybody can recommend a really high airflow air cleaner that would actually go in the stock housing, I'll look into that. But that's what I'll be doing. So I am looking at getting a tuner as well, and everything like that. So now I keep on hearing stories, I haven't had this confirmed yet, stories that the new 2021 bikes, they're not allowing any external tuners on, which is really interesting. I think Harley Davidson are trying to keep it all in-house, aren't they? I am going to be looking at getting an advanced FP3 tuner as well for the things that you can do even with a stock bike. Yeah, I'm not sure anything fits in the stock housing per se, but you can get S&S Stealth. These are stockhead. Yeah. I think the only one that I can think of is basically a K&N filter, air cleaner filter, which is essentially a direct replacement for the stock one, but just it's the Screaming Eagle filter with it behind your cover. Yeah, I'm not sure how much better that is than a K&N one. That's my issue with that, but say I don't know yet, so I'll have to investigate that. But anyway, yeah, what was I saying about the tuners? Yeah, so I'm going to get a tuner and everything. Yeah, the Bike 21 bikes have a new ECM, but aftermarket tuners are coming as well. Well, okay, that'd be interesting to see what happens there. You know, I've got to say, Harley Davidson, in their infinite wisdom or lack of wisdom, that I don't know what you thought about their live launch. I just thought it was embarrassing. I just thought it was really, really poor with what they were supposed to be selling us or telling us. You know, I get the whole riding experience and bring in real people, as it were, to share their stories riding it. So I know the big push on the sell, and the biggest market obviously is the American market, so it's going to be centered on that. There's no problem there. It's more about the meat on the bones. There wasn't a lot there, was there, really? So okay, right. So yeah, they're already working on tuners. I wonder if it's going to be a case that they are going to be allowed to have external tuners or not. I can't see how they can't allow it. You know, I don't think there's going to be any kind of progress. So I think what I was told, I don't know how true this is that any external tuner might work, but it might not be able to provide full functionality. So that's it. But anyway, there we go. Look, but I got to say the one. So you think the launch was fine, Fran? Well, I got to say yeah, I'm not comparing it to any other company as well, I've got to say. So I'm not saying that anyone is better, because I actually don't tend to watch a lot of these kind of things anyway. But I kind of didn't like it. Not necessarily for the style, because I kind of think that was very, in many ways, some of the cinematic stuff was all very good. Jason Momoa obviously had a bit of a hand in that, which I thought his little 2-second bit right at the start was a bit naff, I've got to say. I just thought the way it was delivered would just seem to be a little bit, and also the amount of information that they gave was just, they brought out the Street Bob 114, right, which is great, which just looks nice and everything, but then they were talking about information or detail on the bike that hasn't changed from the last year's model, the previous year's model. So I think, well, why are you talking about this particular feature on the bike that is actually old news? Yeah, I'm not so sure. The color options were great and all that kind of stuff, but there wasn't a lot of information. I thought they could have done a lot more. I think they've held back a lot on what they were supposed to be given. I don't know. Should have been better. I thought, or not so jazzed up, but more just information based, and actually say, look, this is a new bike here. We've got the new Road Glide special here, let's say, or the Road Glide CVO or whatever. This is what it is. This feature's got this, it's got this, it's got this, it's got this. That's what I would have preferred, rather than, there you go. So yeah, okay, so this, yeah, the video, right, sure, it's only a thing, but the website has more information. That's right, and also the media kit which I got has more information, but even that still isn't a great deal. And let's be under no illusion here. They asked us to join them for the live launch. The live launch was based on a media video. It's a video message. It's a live thing which they're trying to give to us, and it just didn't. Personally, you know, I just didn't think it was that great. I thought it was quite embarrassing, really. I think they could have just had professional people, professional presenters doing it, and then interviewing, you know, Harley Davidson staff to get their expert opinion on something, rather than leave it in the hands of Harley employees to kind of try and be presenters. You know, there we go. Anyway, what do I know? What do I know? Honestly, it's the biggest disappointment, the Fat Boy 114 getting shiny chrome. I want to say, I've got to say, I agree with that. When they were talking about, oh yeah, all these different accent pieces, you know, everything's shiny, I was just like, okay, so you got rid of all that other colour and just put a load of shiny chrome on it. Is that it? Is that what you've done? Great. I wonder if they've made adjustments to the Fat Boy because of the problems they were having with the pitting on the front fork legs as well. I'm just wondering if there was something that they were trying to address there as well. Does anybody know also why they've see, there was no mention of the clutch on the Taurus either, was there? There's no mention of that. There's no mention of stuff that was kind of, we've started to hear in the ether, or the little changes that were coming out. You know, with the Street Bob with the 114 engine, why? Yeah, I know they're still satin chrome for 2021, the fork legs, but they still had that issue with pitting, and I'm just wondering whether this whole redesign was kind of also, they've addressed that as well, but they didn't mention it. With the 114 engine in the Street Bob, again, well, why have they just put it in the Street Bob? Why haven't they made the 114 an option for all the other Softails as well, or the other Softails as well, if that's where you want to go? But there we go. Yeah, I've got to say the 114 engine in the Street Bob sets it apart. If you watch my other videos when I talked about them when they introduced the Lowrider S, I think they made a huge mistake with the 114 Lowrider S, because you can get the 114 in the other bikes. What's the point in buying a 114 Lowrider S, you know, when you got the 114 and other, apart from styling, right? Now they're kind of saying, oh, well, do you know what? We got this Street Bob, and maybe Lowrider S riders, you know, will come over to the Street Bob. Well, actually, you know, that's just robbing Peter to feed Paul, or whatever the expression is. You want to make something different. So when the Lowrider S came out, I actually said, actually, do you know what? You want to make a big statement with this motorcycle, with this signature bike, performance bike on the Softails. Put a 117 in it. You know, go wild with it. Let everybody go crazy with it. Now they've put the 114 in the Street Bob, which is great, but you know, it doesn't really change anything in terms of power. You know, you got a better power to weight ratio as well. So you wonder how people riding the Lowrider actually would prefer the Street Bob anyway. So there we go. Oh, thanks very much, Fernand. Thanks very much. Hopefully it's working. Anyway, no, I've got to say, it's great that they're getting new customers to the channel as well. The growth of the channel is kind of going a little bit like that. It's grown. You know, I would like to like that, but it's going slowly, so thanks very much for that. It's really good. Great comments, as they coming through as well. You know, a mixed bag of comments as well, which is always to be expected. Still getting lots of videos. The website is improving, is getting better. More views, more content going out there as well. I have started writing more on the website as well, more blogs, and that's all shared out to the social media pages as well, everything. But there we go. So, oh, sorry, just got a message come through. I don't know what that is. Right, but there we go. Right, anyway, look, I've almost been doing this for an hour, right? Crikey's only supposed to come on for a couple of minutes, but there we go. It might be the end of the lowrider S, especially considering the price difference. Yeah. Do you know what it could be? I mean, it could be. I'd be interesting to see, because right now, unfortunately, I can't really get hands-on or eyes-on to any bikes right now here in the UK, because my local dealership is closed and I can't ride to the other one. I think the other one is closed, my nearest one. So they're all closed right now because it's UK lockdown because of the pandemic. So once they open up, I could be able to get in there and I'll start asking a few questions and see what they know, what's going on. Bikes I know already been delivered to the US dealerships, but I don't think much has come through this way in Europe yet. So would be interesting to see what happens there. Be interesting to see whether the new Pan America comes out, what the reception is of that. I'll be interested to see if they've actually made any changes, design changes to the Pan America, or is it the same bike essentially that's been doing the rounds for the last couple of years. But there we go. Yeah, golden goose because it has mag wheels, 5 tank. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a different bike, a lowrider S. I'm not saying that, of course. All I'm just talking about engine size. You know, if you're gonna make something a signature bike, which they were kind of trying to make it into one. You know, they're saying depends on the dealership, depends where you are and what the local buying market is. Lots of people would be going for that. But now that the 114 is in the Street Bob, maybe actually a lot of people would be going for the Street Bob instead. You know, it really depends what your style is, I suppose. But as I say, I think they missed an opportunity there. I still think the 114 should at least be an option for all the Softails. It should have been all the Softails as well. But there we go. Big thing now is that HD has 2 golden goose, a Fab 140. Yeah, it does. They've almost overdone the performance motorcycle aspect in the Softail range, and you know, all giving it 114. They need to do something different. They need to make differences so that you're buying something different, as opposed to you're just buying the same performing engine, as it were. You know, you want something a little bit different as opposed to just styling. But there we go. You know, I could be completely wrong. I usually am these days. Yeah, there we go. And then in 107 left the standard and the slim, the and the Sport Glide. The Sport Glide is still a 107 as well. Yeah, I don't think, I mean, that's, you know, for a lot of people, you know, saying, well, actually, the Sport Glide should have at least got the 114 option. I kind of agree. In fact, not kind of agree, I do agree. I think it definitely should have had the 114 as an option. Whether I would have been tempted or not, I don't think so, because I still like the 107 as an engine. I still, you know, I don't particularly want the 114. I definitely think it should have been an option. You know, you come in. I just think the whole Harley process, and I kind of like the way they've gone now with the Taurus and the CVO, in that you can order your bike. Hi Scoot, hello mate, how are you? You can order what you want on your bike. So I kind of like the way they've consolidated everything, and I kind of like to think, okay, you're not just buying something off the rack, as it were. You can put your order in, you either want chrome or you want dark, you want it with this spec, this spec, this spec, and you might have to wait a few weeks, let's say, for your bike to come through, or whether one's already in, you know, in the program, but you can order it. I think kind of like what they should do with the soft tails. Definitely, they should actually have your soft tails, have all your different consolidator, all engine choice, whatever. This, if I was saying to having a sit down with Mr. Zeitz, there's a few things I'd be saying to him, but one of the things I would be saying is right. What you've done in the Taurus, whether you agree with it or not, is actually quite interesting. Let's do that same thing with the soft tails. Make sure that you've just got your bikes, whatever bikes you've got. Don't get rid of the models. You know, keep those models there because people still like those particular models. Let's say the Breakout and the whatever else was gone, FXDR or S, whatever. Just keep those bikes, but they just offer a full. Hold on. There we go. Sorry, I lost you there for a minute. Am I sticking with the content? I think one of the yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'll be sticking with the bike. The bike content is never going to change. So anyway, so I'm sticking with my bike as well. I was looking at different bikes. That was another thing, but a few things have happened the last couple of weeks. So the Sportster, yeah, Sportster is no longer coming into Europe as well, stuff like that. I mean, I haven't kept up with the latest, the very latest of all that, but yeah, there's big changes for here in Europe and around the world, of course. You know, and what we see here in Europe and what you guys see in the United States or Australia or Canada or whatever might be slightly different. 45 grand for a new tri-glide, yeah, it's a lot of money, isn't it? I've got to say, I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure whether they've got the pricing right. I'm not sure whether the models are right, and I'm not sure whether, you know, the Sport Glide, for example, has gone up £400 or £500. I mean, you know, so I wonder whether, let's say if I had to buy another Harley right now, would I even consider a brand new bike? The reason is you could get a brand new bike because the finance deal's available, but I'm not sure that I would. I think I'd just go used now. If I could buy a quality used one that's got low miles, I think you get a better deal. I think, you know, it's almost like it's become offensive how expensive these bikes are now. But there we go. But you can still, they're still affordable on these finance deals which you get. But there we go. Right, anyway, look, thanks for joining me. I say it was only supposed to be a quick update to the channel. As I said, there is going to be lots of stuff coming, but I am thinking about new videos to do. I am doing lots of testing of kind of wacky tests right now to see how that works out as well. But hopefully there'll be more stuff coming very soon. Right, I'm just kind of looking around here to see if there's anything else I can talk about, but no. But anyway, look. I've just trying to catch up with the comments here. No. Right, okay. So that's it. If you like me to do more live videos in the future, I will. I'll try and do that. Actually, I'll try and be a bit more prepared next time, and maybe do it off my computer as opposed to do that. But anyway, have a great day, everybody. Hope you're well. Keep the faith and all that kind of stuff. Thanks for all the comments, all the likes, all the shares, whatever. All the new subscribers. Really appreciate that. I say it's only going one way for me. Hopefully, just going to keep on going up, and more stuff coming. But so I'm taking a little break as well. Right, catch you again. Ta-da. Now, I've got to find somehow of disconnecting. How do I do that? That's not the one. Ta-da now. Oops. Ta-da, there we go. I found the off button. See ya.